Hello, folks. Hello. Remember the importance of show versus tell. It's more important to show. You get a lot more ground showing one thing than having 100 pages where someone says, "Oh, this guy, he's the evilest man who's ever lived," and so on. Yeah. Dominican Co. pushed up. Moved to join their comrades. The area before the theater. Blue corridor before the theater is still partially in enemy hands, with men, Jade troops, in prone, squeezing off, burst with AKs. Zedin troops were pushing, squeezing them, being cautious. Several men had been slain, killed in that hall. Several Zedins have been cut down in that hall, shooting them from both sides of the hall. But we're being cautious. Side of the hall, but we're being cautious. I'm gonna cut down in that hall. Candle saw them oozing blood, laying on their backs, mouths open, mouths and eyes open. It was not a new sight for Handel, but it felt new, and he wasn't sure why. Handel got down in a kneeling position by an alcove. Started squeezing off. Burst with his M16. He caught one of the Zens. No, one of the Jade. Fuck. Hope I don't make that error. Really, have him gunning down a bunch of his own countrymen. That's what you get for being racist, they'll say. Your racism made me not able to shoot straight, so I killed everybody. Everybody is my enemy. So you say something else insane like that. He caught one of the Jade about the throat, opening it up. It's bloodily, as if he slashed it with a knife. Handel didn't want to get that close. There were guys around him. His brother told him about guys who like to go, like to get close with a knife. Pete only like that. Someone came up behind him, and they were too close to shoot. Handel doubted Jade that he'd ever be close, or be too close to a guy that he couldn't shoot him. That's not foreshadowing there. I'm not planning on having him, locked in a battle of, I don't know what you call it, mortal battle, hand to hand. Those scenes are pretty difficult to write, but they're pretty dynamic, so maybe I will have something like that later. The guy Handel shot couldn't ignore. It probably went through, right through his spine, and left him paralyzed from the neck down. He slumped forward, face down, his own blood coming to meet him. Handel imagined it wasn't a pleasant end. And at least he didn't start flopping around like a fish. Got one. Handel muttered and found he had to reload. Let's see, outside the corridor. Outside corridor. Why is the outline divided here? Earlier. Gray, another. Did I call him Paul by accident? For some reason I have a thing where I call people Paul. He had come into the hall with a full mag and somehow emptied it in seconds. In about a second. And it was soon reloaded. Good to go. You should do that in video games. Like have the protagonist slow to reload at first. And then they get better and better gradually. Could do that with like Resident Evil game, one of the ones where it's a civilian military guy who's doing the shooting. Resident Evil's kind of unique among horror games in that you're playing a military guy fighting for his life instead of some civilian, which is usually how it's supposed to be with a horror game or a horror story. Of course, there are plenty of military-themed horror stories. Aliens comes to mind. Let's see. And was good to go. Keep missing words. I mean, this story is wordy as hell as is. I'm still missing words. Good to see it wasn't a good shooting outside. It wasn't just a fluke. Dominic muttered, "Yeah." Handel agreed. The fighting outside felt like it had been going on, like it took place 100 years ago. It was hard for Handel to believe that he had been there. Yeah. That was about 90 pages of action, folks. 90 straight pages. That's gotta be a world record in some way. Many writers will probably have an action sequence that lasts a page. I go totally nuts though. Let's see, is there a window for the projection booth? Let's see. A shame where we'll have to keep track of the shame we're still not on guard duty. Handel noted. We could be in some safe office somewhere watching over Lord Richington and those SAS fella. If we are on guard duty, we'd still be here. Dominique replied instantly, quickly. What do you mean? Figures I have my super energy drink on a day when it happens that most of the stuff is talking. Let's see, what do you mean? Handel asked. Richington and the SAS guy, Roper Pale, they're here fighting. Dominique replied. What? Gasped and shocked. It's a little anime kind of thing there. Like someone sees something shocking and, ooh, what the hell? Of course that happens in the West too, but I get this idea from anime sometimes. Let that be a lesson. Watch anime. They'll show you how to tell a good story. And their mangas, you know, it's kicking the ass of Western entertainment right now, which is filled with preachiness and people trying to spout their political diatribes and whatnot. It's going to be really detrimental to the financial health of these industries, but they don't. For some reason, they don't care. It's the end. The utopia justifies the means, or something. I don't know. What? Handel gasped in shock. Handel saw with his own eyes. Several at the opposite end of the hall. of the hall. Two warriors of the last war had appeared. Lord Richington and Roper Pale. Handling the latter. The latter had a title as well. He could have. A lot of those special forces guys ended up knighted for their service. I have a different word for knight in this universe. Wish that guy would stop coughing. He's reminding me that he's sick. Let's see. Lord Richington had discarded much of his Arkness attire, but was still masked, wearing a balaclava. Did I mention him wearing a suit and tie? No, I mean a top hat. Like a literal top hat. Before I came up with the Arkness ethnicity, I had characters like him. I had him dressing like just like a top hat, a mask kind of thing over his face, and a scarf on top of that. But the Arkness, it was he's masked all over, so, that kind of is shorthand instead of talking about a damn top hat. Masked, wearing a balaclava. Wearing a balaclava. He had a weapon, and he had an assault rifle. Each hand. All four of them. The man had 4 arms. And Handel could see a slight glimpse of a strange face within that mask, past the big eye hole thing. Past the big hole for the eyes. The face was oddly shaped, kind of long and doggish. The skin was a beige, pale color. Milk pale. The eyes were gold and large, but still kind of human in a strange way. The Arkness attire had seemed to bulk the man up before, but now Handel could see that he was actually very meaty on his own. Big arms and big arms, a broad chest, so on, and a thick neck. The other man, Roper, had not undergone some strange transformation. The closest he came to that was undoing the buttons of his suit coat, exposing his dress shirt. Let's see, was he wearing body armor? Yeah. Roper armor. And was Ireland wearing armor for that matter? And his white dress shirt and a gray platinum armor vest. Platinum is the equivalent of Kevlar. I gave it a new name. No particular reason. It wasn't like I was afraid of copyright from Kevlar. I think Kevlar likes when they, people talk. For M16s. Let's see, well, it had an M16 assault rifle. Roper had an M16 in hand. 2 hands. He still only had 2. And an M4. An M1 from World War II. Was hanging from his back. Yeah, the fact that World War II was World War III in this universe should tell you that there was some, things went pretty crappy, somewhere in history. Let's see. The two men were flanked by a dozen of their comrades, most of whom took a knee and aimed from that, went down on one knee and fired from the sights, sending gunmen in the open and prone, rolling and writhing. Taking out Jade, the Jade and prone. Soon that hall was empty of defenders. Besides, the hall was clear. Hallway was clear besides the two windows above the theater double doors, which led to the projection booth. There were two Jade up there with M16s of their own. They came under pretty heavy fire as the men around Richington and Roper moved in for the kill. These damn energy drinks are getting me OCD again. Oh my. Yeah, I just choked on. The Jade refused to stay suppressed up there. They kept jumping up. They kept jumping up and shooting. Handel kept staring at Richington, wondering what the hell he was. Some kind of alien? Some kind of mutant? This guy was some powerful person. Politician. Back in his native land, Chromia. What if he became Prime Minister someday? Did I call him President? Sometimes I think to do a little alt history, I might have just changed the title here and there, like make the British Prime Minister a president. I think there was something like that in a Doctor Who episode, one of the earlier ones from the Revived series. What if he became Prime Minister someday? An alien with four arms and a dog head become Prime Minister? That's the question we all gotta ask ourselves. We better move up. Dominique suggested. And I thought of the last time he saw Richington and Roper. Back before they were both sent outside. Back before the squad was sent outside to fight that big fight out there. The two were just put inside the main security room, and a bunch of guards were standing at the entrance. The M16s looking grim, like they were already the last line of defense in the facility. Wasn't the case. The pair of VIPs seemed content to just wait it out. Things out in a couple of chairs. Maybe drinking some tea, or that was too stereotypical. Chromish. Some lemonade. Tea's probably better for you than lemonade. Lemonade will burn your teeth and your enamel off with its acidity. Though tea will also stain your teeth. Yep. I thought I was gonna have some energy drink left for tomorrow, but nope, I guess I'm a thirsty boy today. I only have a craving for a McDonald's sundae. Something with caramel and whipped cream. That would hit the spot. Maybe later. After I go to a park. Parks are a great place to sit and think, you know? Handel silently took point up close to the entrance of the theater. He didn't just... He and a dozen other guys stood there, hugging the wall, while others kept up the fire on the jade up in those two windows. Handel saw Richington reload his M16s in rather quick succession. Rather quickly. Like he had years of experience with the guns. He then rolled into the open. He then rolled and stepped back from cover, aiming up through the windows, and he sprayed vigorously, emptying his 4 mags. In about the same time it took him to reload, he managed to get one of the jade. That impressive volley. The fellow managed to scream, and was thrown back, blood spraying out the window. Go to the ground below. Watch out. I might drop some grenades on us, Gray yelled his comrades. Everybody took a step back, including Handel. Took some steps back. Don't give him any ideas. Handel growled. One of Richington's comrades, not Roper, tossed a grenade through that window. Nobody was concerned about taking a projection. Did it lead up to the projection booth? I know. I was too concerned about taking the protection booth intact. It didn't look like there was any glass left in those windows, but somehow the tossed grenade smashed the last bit of glass in the frame of window 2, and it fell down to the floor below amidst blood. And it wasn't fond of the idea of broken glass either falling or just laying about. Remember the story from Pete. Remember a story from Pete about some window exploding right by him? He wouldn't open his eyes for an hour. He was worried that the medic missed some broken glass on his eyelids or eyelashes or something. Since Pete came back from the war with his eyes intact, Handle assumed he was fine. Assumed his eyes. The glass didn't get his eyes. Get his eyes. Get his eyes or get in his eyes? Guess that looks alright. The grenade went off. A tremendous boom. And this Hollywood-like boom. Like boom. Like it was an atom... Like some atom bomb. It triggered in that room. Where there were a bunch of barrels. High explosive. The room took out the other guy. Who let out a miserable final scream. Scream up there. Likely, handle. Handle imagined the man reduced to some limbless, faceless horror. Horror that, thankfully, wouldn't be alive for much longer. He wouldn't end up like that guy, that horror book, that horrifying book. Handle read when he was little. About the guy who ended up blind, deaf, and limbless after World War. On the last day of the Great War. Deaf, faceless, and limbless. The worst part was that guy didn't die. Handle assumed in real life. He would have in real life. Sir, what are you doing here? The windows are clear. Keep some eyes on it. Lord Richington ordered his comrades, sounding like some tough as nails. Say yes, commando, in that moment. Yes, sir, the men replied, sounding almost in awe of him. Around him. Handle remembered Richington sounding a lot more softer, older, and, not older, softer and older. Older and tranquil. Earlier, it was clear that coming into combat, going back into combat changed him. Back in the saddle. Handle muttered under his breath. And more tranquil. It's not older, and very tranquil. Softer, is that a synonym? Yeah. Okay, folks, signing off here. Have a nice day.